Daniel Reed had learned that emergencies never announced themselves. They simply happened. One moment, everything could be normal. The next, someone could be fighting for their life. That was exactly what happened on a Tuesday morning at Sterling Heights Medical Center. Daniel was sitting behind the wheel of his old sedan, waiting for his daughter, Emma, to finish school. He worked as a driver for Victoria Sterling, the CEO of Sterling Innovations. The job wasn't glamorous. He drove her to meetings, waited outside offices, delivered documents, and occasionally helped with errands. But Daniel was grateful. He was a single father, and the flexible schedule allowed him to be there for Emma. His phone buzzed. A message from his daughter's teacher. Emma is ready to be picked up. Daniel smiled. He started the car. Then his phone rang. It was Victoria. Daniel, where are you? About 10 minutes away. Come to the office. Her voice sounded unusual. Is everything okay? I need you to take me to the board meeting. I thought you had your own driver today. I do. There was a pause. But I want you. Daniel frowned. Why? I'll explain when you arrive. 20 minutes later, Daniel pulled up outside Sterling Innovations. Victoria was already waiting. She looked perfectly composed. Dark suit. Hair neatly tied back. Tablet in one hand. Coffee in the other. But Daniel noticed something. She was pale. Are you okay? I'm fine. You don't look fine. I didn't sleep well. Daniel stepped out and opened the passenger door. Maybe you should cancel the meeting. Victoria shook her head. I can't. Why? Because if I don't show up today, the board will vote on something I don't agree with. Daniel frowned. Then I'll get you there. She entered the car. For the first few minutes, everything seemed normal. Then Victoria suddenly stopped speaking. Daniel glanced at her. Miss Sterling? No answer. He looked again. Her coffee had fallen onto the floor. Her hand was pressed against her chest. Victoria? She gasped. Daniel immediately pulled the car to the side of the road. What's wrong? I can't. She struggled to breathe. Daniel's military training instantly took over. He checked her responsiveness. Look at me. Victoria tried. Can you breathe? She nodded weakly. Daniel grabbed his phone. He called emergency services and gave them the location. Then he turned back to her. Stay with me. Victoria closed her eyes. Daniel tapped her shoulder. No. Keep your eyes open. I'm scared. Those words shocked him. Victoria Sterling was known for intimidating entire boardrooms. She never admitted fear. But now she was terrified. Daniel took her hand. You don't have to be brave right now. She looked at him. Just breathe. He followed the dispatcher's instructions while waiting for the ambulance. Minutes felt like hours. When the ambulance finally arrived, Daniel jumped out and waved the paramedics over. Chest pain. Difficulty breathing. Sudden onset. The paramedics immediately began assessing her. One asked, family member? Daniel hesitated. No, I'm her driver. Victoria reached for his hand. He's coming. The paramedic looked at her. Sir. Victoria's breathing was shallow. He's coming with me. Daniel climbed into the ambulance. His phone rang. Emma. He answered immediately. Daddy, I'm here. Where are you? I'm helping someone. Are you coming to get me? Daniel looked at Victoria. I'll make sure someone picks you up. But I want you. His heart tightened. I know. He called Emma's teacher and arranged for a trusted neighbor to collect her. Then he turned back toward Victoria. Her eyes were closed. Stay with me. She whispered. I'm trying. The ambulance sped toward the hospital. Daniel remained beside her. When they arrived, the emergency department was already waiting. Doctors rushed Victoria through the doors. Daniel followed. A nurse stopped him. Are you family? No. Then you need to wait outside. Daniel nodded. He stepped back. Minutes passed. Then 10. Then 20. Daniel paced the hallway. His phone buzzed repeatedly. His daughter was safe. That should have calmed him. It didn't. He kept thinking about Victoria's face. The fear in her eyes. The way she had held his hand. Finally, a nurse came out. Mr. Reed. Daniel looked up. Yes. Are you Daniel Reed? Yes. She handed him a clipboard. We need an emergency contact. Daniel looked confused. I'm not family. The nurse nodded. I understand. She pointed toward the treatment room. Miss Sterling gave us your name. Daniel stared. My name? Yes. He looked through the glass. Victoria was awake. A doctor was speaking to her. She noticed Daniel. Their eyes met. She raised her hand. The doctor walked toward the door. She's stable. Daniel exhaled. What happened? We believe she experienced a serious cardiac episode. We're running additional tests. Daniel nodded. Can I see her? The doctor looked at the chart. You're the emergency contact. Daniel stared. She put me down? She did. He looked back at Victoria. She gave him a faint smile. Daniel entered the room. You scared me. Victoria looked away. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. He pulled a chair beside the bed. You need to take care of yourself. She laughed weakly. You're my driver. Right now I'm your friend. Victoria looked at him. Friend. Daniel smiled. Unless you want me to go back to being the driver. She shook her head. No. There was something in her voice that made him stop. What? Victoria looked at the paperwork on the table. Then at him. When they asked who should be contacted, I didn't think. She swallowed. I just wrote your name. Daniel was silent. Why? Victoria looked directly at him. Because you're the person I trust. The words stayed between them. Neither spoke. Then Daniel's phone rang. Emma. He answered. Daddy. Yes. Are you coming home? Daniel smiled. Yes, sweetheart. Victoria watched him. For the first time, she saw the man behind the job title. Not a driver. Not an employee. A father. A protector. A man who had rushed a frightened woman to the hospital without once asking what it would cost him. And she realized something that frightened her almost as much as the medical emergency. Daniel Reed had become the one person she trusted most. She just didn't know yet what that would mean for both of their lives. 2 hours passed before Daniel received another update. He had spent most of that time sitting in the hospital corridor, staring at the same spot on the floor. His suit jacket was still damp from the rain. His phone showed 17 missed calls from different people at the company. He ignored everyone. The only message he answered was from Emma. Daddy, are you okay? Daniel typed back. I'm okay. I'll be home soon. I promise. Then he looked through the glass doors toward the emergency department. Victoria was still inside. He couldn't explain why he was so worried. She was his boss. That was all. At least, that's what he kept telling himself. A doctor finally walked toward him. Mr. Reed. Daniel immediately stood. Yes. She's stable. Daniel released a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. Thank God. Her condition appears to have been triggered by something in her system. Daniel frowned. Something? We're still running tests. Could it have been medication? Possibly. The doctor hesitated. But there's another possibility. Daniel's expression changed. What? We found traces of a substance that shouldn't have been there. Daniel stared at him. Are you saying she was poisoned? We're not ready to say that yet. But you're investigating it. Yes. Daniel's instincts immediately sharpened. Who has access to her food and drinks? The doctor shrugged. That's something security and law enforcement will have to determine. Daniel nodded. Her office. What about it? She had a bottle of water in her office. The doctor looked at him. Do you know where it is? No. Daniel immediately pulled out his phone. He called the security director at Sterling Innovations. Marcus, I need you to lock down Ms. Sterling's office. Why? Don't touch anything. Daniel, what's happening? Victoria may have been poisoned. There was silence. What? Keep everyone out of her office until police arrive. I'll do it. Daniel ended the call. He turned back toward the doctor. Can I see her? She's awake. Daniel entered the room. Victoria was sitting against the pillows. Her face looked pale, but her eyes were clear. She smiled when she saw him. You stayed. Daniel pulled the chair beside her bed. Of course. You have a daughter. Yes. She must be wondering where you are. I arranged for someone to stay with her. Victoria looked down. I'm sorry. For what? For taking you away from her. Daniel shook his head. Don't. She looked at him. Daniel, I almost died. I know. And you didn't leave. No. Why? He thought about it. Because you needed someone. Victoria smiled faintly. You always say things like that. Like what? Like helping people is just something anyone would do. Daniel shrugged. Maybe it is. No. Her voice was quiet. It isn't. She looked at the hospital paperwork. Then she touched the page where his name appeared. I wrote your name. Daniel followed her gaze. I know. Do you know why? He shook his head. Victoria looked toward the window. Because when everything happened, I couldn't think of anyone else. Daniel remained silent. She continued. Not my lawyer. Not my assistant. Not even my family. She looked at him. You. Daniel didn't know how to respond. Before he could answer, the door opened. 2 police officers entered. One introduced himself. Mr. Reed. Yes. We need to ask you some questions. Daniel nodded. Victoria looked at the officers. He saved my life. We know. The officer turned to Daniel. Do you know anyone who might want to harm Miss Sterling? Daniel thought immediately of the company's chief financial officer, Marcus Kane. For months, Victoria had been fighting him over financial decisions. He had wanted to sell several divisions. Victoria had refused. But Daniel didn't want to accuse anyone without evidence. I don't know. The officer nodded. Where was she before she collapsed? At the office. Who was with her? Several executives. Did she eat or drink anything? She had coffee. From where? I don't know. The officer wrote something down. Daniel suddenly remembered. Victoria had complained about her coffee earlier. She had said it tasted strange. He looked at her. Your coffee. Victoria frowned. What about it? You said it tasted strange. She thought. Yes. Who brought it? My assistant. Which assistant? Claire. The officer immediately wrote down the name. Where is she now? I don't know. Daniel's phone rang. It was the security director. Daniel. Yes. Police are here. Good. But there's a problem. What? Someone entered Ms. Sterling's office before we locked it down. Daniel's stomach tightened. Who? We're checking cameras. Find out. A minute later, Marcus called again. We have footage. Who was it? There was a pause. The CFO. Daniel's expression hardened. Marcus Kane. Yes. Daniel looked toward Victoria. She had heard him. Her face went pale. Why would he enter my office? Daniel stood. We're going to find out. The police officers left the room to investigate. Daniel stayed beside Victoria. She looked frightened again. Daniel. I'm here. If something happens to me. Nothing is going to happen. But if it does. She reached toward the paperwork. Promise me you'll protect my company. Daniel stared at her. I'm your driver. Not anymore. What? Victoria smiled weakly. You saved my life. She pointed toward the form. And when I couldn't speak, I wrote your name. Daniel looked down. The words suddenly carried a different meaning. It wasn't simply an emergency contact. It was trust. Victoria had chosen him when she believed she might not survive. The next morning, investigators discovered that someone had tampered with the coffee machine in Victoria's private office. Security footage showed Marcus Kane entering the room shortly before Victoria became ill. He denied poisoning her.